Hi, this is Richard Anter here from Once Was and Trust, and I want to just have a quick chat regarding, I say chat, just to go over operating as a landlord. So if you own properties, at least 2, 3, 4 plus, or large portfolio properties, have you considered what will happen in the future when that day eventually comes and you pass away? Do you know what the plan is? And the reason why I'm asking that question, because you've probably heard, maybe you haven't, I don't know, about inheritance tax. The government is collecting more and more and more every quarter. The figure just gets larger and larger and larger. I think it's around about £7 billion now, and at least £1 million more than the quarter before. So, without planning, they're just going to get richer and richer and richer. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong. You might be happy to pay the government lots of 40% of your income, or sort of 40% of your earnings, or wealth, should I say. But the question is, have you considered that? So this video is really just a quick overview, especially if you haven't considered it, or if it's been in the back of your mind. What is your long-term plan? Especially if you have children or you don't have children, if you're in a relationship or if you're married, then what are your options? It's important to speak to someone about that and start putting a plan in place sooner rather than later. Don't leave it to the last minute, because sometimes the plans required can take 2-3 years, sometimes a bit longer, depending on your current situation. So really important to review. So just a quick overview. So for investment property, residential investment property, there are other schemes. I'm not going to talk about that now for commercial property and things like that. But if you own property as a residential, landlords, and I'll include HMOs because, again, and rent to rent. And there's other schemes which, again, if you own land in some way, shape, or form, then it's something to consider. All right. So the main challenges that you have as a landlord is either going to be inheritance tax and, or capital gains tax. Now, you probably feeling the pain as a landlord if you don't have a limited company set up. There are ways to put property portfolios into a limited company setup, or maybe a different vehicle. Again, depends on your own individual and personal circumstance, and it's important for you to get all the options available to you so that you can make an informed choice as to what to do. But inheritance tax is a major problem, and that's 40% of your wealth will be deducted or taxed from your estate if when you pass away, the value of your estate exceeds £325,000, okay, or potentially £500,000, depending on your circumstances. Now, most properties, especially down in London, one property is worth more than that, and even if you're highly geared, if you've got a portfolio, you're probably going to have much, much more than £325,000 of wealth or equity laid in the properties. All right. Now, the other challenge is capital gains tax, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but with capital gains tax, I call it CGT just for short, and that is triggered when you make an actual gift. So if you think about giving it to children, or a partner of some form, if you're not married, that will trigger a capital gains tax. Or if you sell the property, again, it's deemed as a disposal, quote unquote, and so that will trigger capital gains tax. And the capital gains tax will be calculated, because it's not your main home, obviously it's a tranche of properties. And it will be calculated either at 18% or 28% based on your earnings. Now, I'm guessing, especially if you've got a portfolio of properties and under Section 24, you're probably more likely to be around about 28% mark as a higher rate earner rather than a basic rate earner at 18% capital gains tax. And now, as the time of recording of this video, the threshold for capital gains tax is only £6,000. It's reduced more than half. So once the gain exceeds £6,000, then it will trigger a capital gains tax charge. So you've got to be very careful. So just adding someone onto a property will trigger a tax. Gifting it away will trigger a tax. Thinking you can move into the property, I'm hearing rumours about you've got to stay there for 2 years and then it's all over. Now that's a load of rubbish. Principal private residence relief, as it's called, is only based on once you're living there, and it's only pertaining to one property. So, lots of things that you may be hearing that could be untrue or not completely factual You've probably heard a certain term, a half truth is a whole lie. So it's really important you get proper and accurate advice regarding your estate, especially if you run a business as a property landlord. All right. I'm not going to go into too much details about how to put into a limited company. Yes, quite detailed, quite technical, but ultimately you need to get advice if you're concerned about that. If you're, or if you haven't even thought about it, you need to start thinking about it, because it's something that will be a massive dent on the estate, and it could affect you, your family. And the other side of the question, which most people don't consider, even if you say, yeah, you're happy to pay the 40%, because you don't pay capital gains tax on death. Okay, so even if you're happy to pay the 40% when you pass away eventually, if there's no liquid cash, okay, available, then where is it going to come from? Does that mean you have to sell properties, sell the main home, whatever it might be, to realize that those funds? And there's a vicious circle, because if they don't own the properties because probate hasn't been granted, then where are you going to find the funds to pay it all off? Okay, so it's really important that planning is done, regardless of your sentiment towards paying inheritance tax or not. How will it be paid if it's due? If you don't want to pay it, get some planning in place. Time is your friend. The sooner you do it, the better. All right, and capital gains tax, again, if you start planning in your lifetime, there's ways and means about going around it, but you need to get the right advice to make sure it's done accurately and done correctly. All right, to benefit you and also your family, especially if you want to leave a generational legacy. It's super important that you get the right advice pertaining to this aspect of planning as a landlord of residential property. All right, so that's me, Richard Answer, Once Wills and Trust. Feel free to reach out if you want more guidance. We do a consultation, a free consultation to help you. All right, so you just need to book a time with us. Go to our website, reach out to us, do the quiz. I think that's probably the easiest and best way for us to help you by assessing what stage you're at the moment. And the quiz is available on our website. Drop into the comments box below, and there'll be more information as well of how to reach out to us. If you've got any questions, feel free to write in the comments box or contact us directly. If you found this video helpful, then please put a comment, put a thumbs up, hit the bell. If you didn't find it very useful at all, again, your feedback would be really, really useful. So feel free to hit the thumbs down. No problem at all. I'd just like to know where we're at. Give us some feedback so we can provide information for you that's more relevant. And if you feel that there's information you'd like to know that you can't find on our channel, again, let us know via the comments, and we can try and address that ASAP. All right. Thanks very much for your time. Speak to you soon. Cheers. Richard from Once Wills and Trust.